your shoulders, shoulder blades, and the elbows. Now, if you took your plank position and angled when you're coming into your chaturanga, just to point this out easier, you came to a plank and you had your elbows out to the side and you did a chaturanga, ow, and you tried to, with torqued wrists, come up to an up dog. That would pretty much take your wrists out of commission, your elbows, your shoulders, everything out of commission by having the elbows out and not back and raising the ribs. As this alignment prevents the wrists from torquing, and it keeps the shoulders open, external rotation, and the shoulder blades in the proper alignment too, to stabilize the spine. So from a down dog, if my elbows are out to the side, just my shoulder blades, arms are straight, heels are still down, yay! It's not just about the heels. Elbows out, my shoulder blades come closer together to prevent me, their attempt at least, from doing a head to the floor fall. So with the elbows, so pressing into the mat, first 3 fingers, not that you have the other 2 out of work, but the radial bone is articulating or connecting to the first 3 digits, and the ulnar bone is articulating or connecting to the 4th and 5th digit. When you press into the mat, you're allowing for that radiation and external spiral rotation of the radial bone out, and the elbow then is slightly angled back. The ulnar bone is just doing what it's supposed to because it's just being directed. So by pressing into the mat at that 45 degrees with the mat, wrist crease would still be to the front, but by pressing into the mat, that spiral effect opens up the upper arm. So you want this, the pressure on all the fingers and the palms equally, but if the elbows are out here, press a little bit more into the first 3 fingers and the base of the palm here to find that spiral effect. So, and then relax into it. And I'm always moving my fingers around and readjusting and modifying and whatnot. So just whatever feels funky or odd, change things up. These are just some things to practice or try at least to see what happens. My elbows are stable and back. Shoulder blades are away from my spine. Out here. This is the edge of that one on the left. Bear 2. Edges here. can see. So coming up, inhaling completely, come up onto the toes, look past the hands. Forward bend, exhale. And elbows are back, but hands are still forward, wrist creases nicely parallel to the front of the mat, and shoulders are open, keeping the cervical spine and thoracic spine mobile, because the shoulder blades are still not having to clench. So if you came up and the elbows are out to the side, my shoulder blades, I think the edges are right here. Now they are way up here. And this, my spine, the back, rhomboids, the latissimus dorsi muscles, they all get to be involved and not just like tight and clenched underneath the shoulder blades going, we can't even breathe under here. So shoulder blades being in that open position and the whole chest being in that open position allows for all the muscles and the connecting tissues around the spine to be involved. They want to be involved. They don't like being constricted. So jumping up to your straight-legged forward bend or to your handstand. You can start with one leg at a time, jumping up with scissor legs or L legs, but you might want to try out the two legs together, the toes touching with one rudder, basically, for the movement, the hips, boat, and see what happens. If you're looking forward and you find that dip, the bow in the back, you'll help to stabilize that angle with the legs being straight back and, again, balancing that seesaw effect. So it's just practice, practice, practice. Just. And it never ends, thankfully. It's all about the process and enjoying the ride. If you're afraid of going back to a wheel, if you're fearful and you don't try something, then you're never going to see what happens. If you have gone over and taken a kerplunk and you're still here to talk about it, you're probably okay. So the fear of falling is present in everybody, of course. So I'm not saying go ahead and hurt yourself at all, but trying it out and realizing if you're not looking forward and not creating that bow, then it's going to be a lot harder ever to bring your hips up and stabilize the legs back in that seesaw effect, to bring the legs up. And if you do go over, don't continue to look forward, because that will create more of the extension of the spine. And just realize, okay, I'm okay. I'm just going to let my legs down and allow for the neck to come down to relax so that you find your wheel without the added extension in the spine that you may not be prepared or ready for. So. Still paused here. exhale. At least start with bringing the feet together so you can come to a standing forward bend with your legs together and straight. The ability to completely inhale, pause the breath for the float, to allow for the legs to then slowly relax down into your forward bend will become more and more natural as you practice more. And having the arms in that straight orientation, this is a lot more stable and elongated with the elbows back than when you take out part of the space and the distance, the length here, with the elbows out to the side. So you want more space because of the long legs and the short arms and the inability to bring those legs up to your hands. There's always the ability. So even the half inhaled, or you're halfway up, completely inhaled, this bow in the back that you're creating, extension of the spine, is essentially what you would be doing in a half piked L